Have you ever felt that the more you try to control something, the further it seems to slip away? It's like holding sand in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. We live in a society that teaches us to plan, predict, and act constantly. But what no one tells us is that true power doesn't lie in forcing outcomes, it lies in learning to trust the flow of life. Imagine a woman who spends her days planning every detail of her routine, trying to anticipate all possibilities and avoid every mistake. She works hard, does everything right, yet in the end, exhaustion takes over. Despite all her efforts, things don't always turn out the way she wants. What's missing for life to flow more effortlessly? In this video, you'll find the answer. We'll talk about the balance between action and surrender, a principle that transforms lives. Because trusting the process doesn't mean being passive, it means understanding when to act and when to let go. You'll learn that the energy we spend trying to control everything can be redirected to something far more powerful, aligning with the natural flow of life. What if, instead of swimming against the current, you learn to float and let the river carry you? If this idea resonates with you, stay with me. Have you ever noticed how life feels harder when we try to control everything? When we insist on holding on tightly, believing that without our constant effort, everything might fall apart. This behavior is natural. After all, we were taught to believe that the more control we have, the safer we feel. But what if this need for control is actually the root of our anxiety and frustration? Try visualizing this. You're holding sand in your hands. At first, it sits firmly, resting between your fingers. But as you squeeze to hold onto it, the grains begin to slip away. The tighter you hold, the faster it disappears. This is the paradox of control. The more we try to guarantee a specific outcome, the further we move away from the natural flow of life. But why are we so afraid to let go? First, because we've been conditioned to believe that everything depends solely on our effort. The idea of making things happen has been sold to us as the only way to achieve our dreams. Second, because the unknown is scary. If we're not in control, how can we be sure that things will turn out okay? And finally, because we often carry limiting beliefs that make us feel unworthy of receiving something without a struggle. Now, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what have I been trying to control with all my strength? It could be a relationship, a job, an important decision, or a specific outcome you deeply desire. What would happen if, instead of forcing it, you simply trusted? This is the key that starts to open new possibilities. But how can we truly learn to trust the flow of life? The secret lies in observing nature itself. If we look at nature, we'll see that everything follows a perfect flow. The seasons change effortlessly, rivers find their way without resistance, trees grow at the right time, without rush, without fear. No flower worries about whether it will bloom or not, it simply trusts that, at the right moment, it will. So why do we insist on fighting against the natural rhythm of life? The universe operates in cycles. There are times to plant and times to harvest. Times to act and times to wait. But our minds, trained to seek control, resist this dynamic. When we feel like something is taking too long to happen, we panic, try to force results, and often end up frustrated because things don't unfold as planned. But here's the truth, what is meant for you does not need to be forced. Just as a tree doesn't have to push its branches to grow, you don't need to exhaust yourself trying to make everything happen. There is a perfect time for everything. And when you learn to align your energy with this flow, the right opportunities arrive, doors open, and life becomes lighter. Think about a moment in your life when something happened unexpectedly, without you having to struggle or insist on it. Maybe a job appeared at the perfect time, or a relationship developed naturally. These are examples of life flowing as it should. Now, compare that to a time when you tried to force something that wasn't ready to happen. How did you feel? Probably resistance, exhaustion, and, in the end, frustration. The secret to living in harmony with the flow of life is trust and surrender. But this doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for everything to fall into place. It means acting when you feel it's the right time and letting go when you realize you're trying to control the uncontrollable. Now, you might be wondering, but how do I apply this in my daily life? How can I learn to trust the flow and let go without fear? That's exactly what we'll explore in the next chapter. Understanding the theory is important, but true transformation happens when we apply this wisdom in practice. You already know that the balance between action and surrender is essential for things to flow naturally, but how can you make this a part of your daily routine? Let's explore 3 simple steps that will help you cultivate this new way of living. Step 1. Identify what you're trying to control. The first step is awareness. Before letting go, you need to recognize where you're holding on too tightly. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control that I should actually be trusting? It could be a specific desire, a relationship, an important decision, or even a constant worry about the future. Often, the need for control disguises itself as planning or precaution, but deep down, it hides a fear of uncertainty. If you feel anxious every time you think about something that hasn't happened yet, this might be a sign that you're trying to force an outcome. A practical way to identify this is to keep an observation journal. Every day, write down situations that cause you anxiety or make you feel the need to control. By doing this, you'll start noticing patterns and, over time, learn to trust the natural flow of things more. Step 2. Create space for the flow to happen. Once you've identified what you need to let go of, the next step is to create space for the natural flow of life to take over. Here are some powerful practices to help with this process. Daily meditation. Quieting your mind allows you to notice the moments when you're resisting. Just 5 minutes a day can make a big difference. Intuitive writing. Grab a notebook and write freely about your fears and anxieties. Putting them on paper helps you realize that you don't have to hold on to everything alone. The let it go practice. Whenever you feel yourself trying to force something, take a deep breath and mentally repeat, I trust the flow of life. What is meant for me will come at the right time. These small actions help reprogram your mind to trust more and worry less. Step 3. Small acts of active trust. Finally, one of the most effective ways to strengthen your trust in the flow of life is by practicing small acts of surrender. Here are 2 techniques to help you release control and allow energy to flow naturally. The surrender box exercise. Take a piece of paper and write down something you deeply desire but feel like you're trying too hard to control. Then, fold the paper and place it in a special box. This box symbolizes your trust in the universe. Whenever you feel anxious about that desire, remind yourself that it has already been released. Guided visualization. Close your eyes and imagine a calm river. See yourself floating on it, allowing the current to carry you where you need to go. By practicing this, your subconscious starts accepting the idea of trusting the flow of life. The key here is to repeat these practices consistently. At first, letting go may feel difficult, but over time, trusting will become your new reality. Now that you have these tools, I want to invite you to try something. What if, for just one day, you chose to fully trust? How would that change your experience? Bringing it all together. Life doesn't have to be a constant battle. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders alone. When we understand that the balance between action and surrender is the key to flow, we begin to live with more ease, trust, and inner peace. Up until now, you may have believed that you need to control everything to make sure things happen the right way. But now you know that true power isn't in holding on tightly, it's in knowing when to act and when to let go. Just like a river follows its course without resistance, you, too, can allow life to take you to the right destination without having to fight against the current. So, I have an invitation for you. What if you chose to trust from today onward? Pick one area of your life where you feel like you're holding on too tightly and try letting go. Take a small step back and observe what happens when you allow energy to flow. If this message resonated with you, write in the comments, I trust the flow of life. This will reinforce your commitment to this new way of living and inspire others to do the same. And if you want to continue this journey of inner connection, spirituality, and universal laws, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Life is a constant invitation to surrender. The more you trust, the more the magic unfolds. Dizzy.